there, today we're going to talk about how to properly sear a steak. The first thing that we're going to do to properly sear our steak is take our steak out of the refrigerator at least an hour beforehand. You want to make sure that that steak warms up to room temperature. What happens if you take a cold steak and put it into a hot pan is you end up getting a steaming process versus a searing process. So we've had our steak sitting out for a little bit. And then the next thing I want to talk to you about is making sure that you purchase a steak that has a nice amount of marbling in it. When you're at the market selecting a steak, you want to make sure that you have a steak that has a nice fat ridge, and you also want to have a steak that has some fat marbling throughout it. That's going to add extra flavor, and it's also going to help keep that steak nice and juicy. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do to sear our steak is I like to use a little bit of garlic in my pan because I love the flavor of garlic, but you don't ever want to worry about over seasoning a steak as far as flavors go. A good quality steak will have a lot of flavor in and of itself, so you want to keep it simple. So the first thing we're going to do is just take a clove of garlic and take the skin off of it. Quick, easy way to do that. Take a wide blade knife, pop it, and just be able to peel that garlic skin right off. So once you have your garlic skin off, I just like to give it a little pinch to release a little bit of the oils, and then I'm going to take it and just rub it in the bottom of my pan. So this pan is dry, it's not hot yet, and I'm just rubbing that garlic right in there to give a little bit of that flavor. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add a little olive oil to the pan. And we're going to take that, swirl it around, and I'm going to set it over here and get it started. All right, so while that is heating up, we're going to take our steak, and the next thing we're going to do is, once again, get that excess moisture off. We don't want to steam this baby, we want to sear it. So I'm going to pat it dry with a paper towel and just remove any excess moisture from the surface. And then I'm going to go ahead and liberally sprinkle this with some salt and pepper. Now when I say liberally, I definitely mean liberally. Typically what you think you want to use for salt on your steak, you're probably going to want to use double. So this is kind of a mixture of 3/4 salt, 1/4 pepper. And I'm just really covering that surface area. And then I'm just going to take my fingers and gently pat it in. And our steak is seasoned. Nice and... Alright, so now we're going to take this steak with the tongs. Remember that fat ridge we talked about? We want to make sure that we include that as well in our searing process. So I'm going to go ahead and take my tongs and just set that fat ridge right in that hot pan. And we're just going to sear that up first. Because when you put this on your plate to serve, you want to have that fat ridge have that nice golden color as well. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and lift the steak up and just plop it down. And we're going to let it sear up for a minute. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and give it one more flip and get that other side nice and seared up. Can you see that nice texture we have going there? Alright, so now our steak is properly seared. We're going to go ahead and take it off and place it on our plate. And that's what your properly seared steak should look like before you finish cooking it.